Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about Grim Fate. For the people who don't know, Grim Fate is a Sonic asym. Yes, another one. Since Outcome Memory died, there has been a bunch of them popping out left and right, but I ain't complaining because I'm just here for the lore. Now, what makes Grim Fate different from other asym is its art style. Some asyms are able to shine because of their story or gameplay gimmicks, but Grim Fate decided to do something different with its models. If you're a long time Sonic fan or just a die-hard Blaze fan, you will probably already guess that the models are based on Sonic Rush. Sonic Rush was a Sonic game that came out in the early 2000s, and it was also Blaze the Cat debut game, appearing on the Nintendo DS. The game is still considered by veterans and people who played it to be one of the best Sonic games with its own unique gimmick. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about everything in Sonic Rush because this is a Grim Fate video. But since Grim Fate is so heavily inspired by Sonic Rush, it is probably gonna be brought up again and again and again. Alright, now let's talk about the lore. There is no official lore right now, but you know me, and that never really stopped me before. I spoke to the main lore writer, aka Skull, chill guy by the way. They told me about the lore of the game was going to be introduced after each update, but since I cried to Skull and practically begged him to give me something, anything, he eventually caved in. What can I say? I get whatever I want. No, guy, it feels weird saying it like that, but anyway, Skull gave me a whole ass paragraph explaining the beginning of the world of Grim Fate, so let's read it. Let's start with the first paragraph. It was a normal day inside Leaf Storm Zone, with Sonic and his friends having a picnic under the shade of some nearby trees. Tails was playing around with Cream and Marine, Knuckles was talking to Blaze and arguing about who could beat the other in a fight faster. Amy was reading her tarot cards and Sonic himself was sitting under a tree eating his signature chili dogs. Eyes closed without a care in the world. Amy calls out Sonic, teasing him about doing a reading. Got nothing better to do, go ahead Ames, he says. Yay! Alright, let's see here. Okay, come here Sonic, says Amy. Sonic jumps up, walks over and looks down at the cards in front of him. Amy tells him to flip over 2 of 6 cards. She'll tell him what they mean. You sure these means anything? Amy re-dies her hammer. Geez, just teasing, yeah, alright, I'll do this one and this one. Sonic flips over the Emperor and the Wheel of Fortune. Amy thinks for a moment. I'm pretty sure that means things are always come at you as a surprise, like a race against time. But at the same time you feel trapped, like you can't do things your own way. Maybe something along the lines of no matter how much you run, you'll always be trapped. Sonic shudders. And these tell the future, right? Amy responds. Not at all. Not all the time. No, they usually left up interpretation by reader. Who knows? Maybe the scenario really does happen. A dark portal opens in the sky in the distance. Beside, there's really no way to predict the future you live in. I guess you're right. If I keep on running, I'll be fine. Yeah, that sounds like quite the plan. Now the Wheel of Fortune could represent Sonic being trapped in a cycle he can't escape. The Emperor represents control, hinting that someone else may be in control of his fate. Together, the cards could be warning Sonic that no matter how much he runs, he never truly escapes. His line, if I keep on running, I'll be fine, also feels like some heavy foreshadowing. And with the portal appearing right after, yeah, Sonic might be already cooked. Now let's look at the second paragraph. Sonic chuckles and begins walking back towards the tree, but then Cream suddenly screams. Sonic opens his eyes and looks over at her. She's pointing at something in the sky while taking cover behind him. Sorry for my English. Everyone looks up and sees a shadowy figure floating in the sky. Sonic calls out, Hey, mystery man. Usually the evil guys don't just wear all black or float in midair, so mind telling us who and why you're disturbing us? The figure doesn't respond. Instead, he lifts his hand and a miniature black hole of some sort forms in his palm. The ground begins to shake. Whoa, you can't just take our home that easily. Just who are you? Knuckles yells as he keeps his footing and realizes his fist. The figure finally speaks, but his voice is so distorted that it's difficult to make out.
You never get the chance to know this time. I won't lose.
Before anyone has time to react, he increases the power of the black hole, sucking in everyone and everything inside. It cuts to black. Sonic suddenly wakes up and quickly sits up in the grass. It's raining, but everything feels so colorful. What? Where am I? He says. Now that the shadowy figure, saying this time I won't lose, suggests that he has either fought Sonic before or knows another version of him. The black hole also seems to be what pulls everyone into the world of grim fate. Sonic waking up somewhere extremely colorful could also explain the game's Sonic Rush inspired art style. But the biggest mystery is whether this is another world or some kind of game or a completely twisted reality. Either way, the figure clearly brought them there for a reason. Now, for the third and final paragraph. Sonic gets up and looks around, all around him. Leaf storm zone. However, it is much more eerily quiet than before. No one else is around. Where is everyone? Last thing I remember, I was, he says. He doesn't even have time to react. A figure behind him suddenly wraps a vine around his body and cracks his neck. Sonic falls to the ground, dead. The figure laughs at the camera, slowly zooms out from the world. But before it gets too far, everything heavily distorts and suddenly Sonic is awake again. But this time, he's inside a water palace. What? Where am I? Last thing I remember, I was enjoying a day off with my friends until that weird figure showed up and I gotta run around and find out what's happening, he says. Sonic runs off, completely oblivious to the fact that he's now trapped in an infinite distance to die. Over and over again. In the distance, Metal Sonic watches the place where Sonic once stood and seems to be planning something. A laugh is heard behind him and the screen fades to black. Now, before I continue, it is important to mention that this is still a rough draft and subject to change. But in any case, that's how the world of grim fate begins. Sonic and his friends are taken by this mysterious figure and trapped inside what seems to be an endless cycle of death and rebirth. Every time Sonic dies, he simply wakes up somewhere else with no real understanding of what's happening. This also makes Amy Tarot reading way more important because Sonic is now literally trapped in a race against time. No matter how much he runs, he can never truly escape. But the biggest mystery are still the shadowy figure. Why he said it is time, I won't lose, and what Metal Sonic planning in the background. So yeah, Sonic was right about one thing. He's definitely gonna keep on running, just not for the reason he thought about.